Hello there and welcome back to Szpakowo. So April is our mass planting month. We've got 3 fields to plant, 2 fields to roll. And before we get started though, I want to take a look at a couple of things. So first thing is I found a mod in Mod Hub called Yield Tracker, and it doesn't really serve any purpose other than stats because I love stats. So basically what this does is from now, it doesn't do historical yields unfortunately, but from now all of the yield from all of our fields are going to be tracked in here, so we can see over time how our farm is performing. So thank you to the person who created this mod. I think it's going to be one that is going to be very cool for people like myself who are into stats. Next thing, let's check our animals. So they've got a little bit of food left, so that's all good. Well, they've got quite a bit of food left. That's all good. They're going to be sold in 2 months, these 10, and then these ones are going to be sold in about 10 months. It's starting to get a little full on the slurry side of things, so you need to bear that in mind. And then the next thing is our fields. So this month we're going to be planting sorghum in 116, soybeans in 124, rice in 129, and we're going to be rolling 116 and probably 124 as well. And then I also want to lime and fertilize our grass field just so that we get a good yield from our next chop, and also so that we keep up our precision farming score. What I'm going to do quickly is just check to see if the crop sensor picks up soybeans or not, because if it doesn't, I'll put the other tractor on this and use the JD for the sorghum or the rice. So let's just connect up to our planter here. We've already got soybeans selected. Let's get ourselves lined up on this field and let's see if anything is detected. Oh, it does detect it. I know with cotton it's not detected. Okay, well I guess we're going to carry on with this then, and then we will continue with the other tasks afterwards. So I will see you in a bit. Okay, so that is our soybeans and our rice planted. What I'm going to do quickly is go and get the tractor refueled because it's having a squeakathon at me because it's thirsty. And then I'm going to set an AI worker loose with the planter on the sorghum. And I'm going to start rolling the soybeans, and then I'll continue, and then I'll follow up by rolling the sorghum after. I just want to check to see if soybeans need rolling. I know that rice doesn't, but do soybeans? Yes, they do. That's okay. So yeah, we'll go take care of Okay, so I'm going to top up the planter with sorghum just to ensure that he doesn't stop halfway through and demand attention. So let's set up the AI worker. So 2 headlands, do the headlands not up and down, skip line 0, and let's see how they go with it. We'll keep an eye just while they get started, and then we'll continue with our other tasks. Yeah, looks like they're doing their thing. So we'll leave them to do that. We'll jump in our other tractor here, and we'll go roll our soybeans. You know what we could buy actually? Something that we probably should have bought a long time ago. We should buy a jet wash. It's 4,300. It's not horrendously expensive. And I did read somewhere that if you have a jet wash, that your maintenance on your vehicles goes down slower. So I'm not sure if that's true or not. Now, where do we put it? Should we put it in the middle here, just so it's kind of in the middle of all of our tools? I think that's a good place for it, because then we can clean stuff as we're going past. We don't have to take it over to the edge of the shed. So, yeah. Plant that down. That's our frivolous expenditure for the month of April. Let's go over here with the tractor. And let's get this old beast cleaned. That's looking fairly clean. How are we looking around the side here? Yeah, I think we're looking pretty good. Okay. Here we go. We've got a nice shiny tractor. Don't think it's been that shiny since we bought it. So, back in the cab. Let's go and roll our soybeans. So I will continue. I will roll soybeans, and then I will jump over to the sorghum and start rolling that while the AI helper is still planting it. And I'll rejoin you afterwards. See you soon. Okay, so that is the rolling complete on the sorghum field and the lime and fertilizing complete on our grass field. And we've just been over to the store to top up with lime, and I bought a few extra bags just to keep handy because I'm sure we're going to be needing it throughout the year. So let's drop off the lime here. In fact, before we drop it off, let's take a quick look at contracts just to see if there's any nice juicy 5-figure lime contracts that we can take care of. Yeah, there is. There's one just over there. So I think we're going to take that just to build up our balance, because we spent money on lime, we spent money on workers. So we'll take this one. And also we may as well do 137 while we're at it. It's right next door. So we're going to take that. Oh, we'll collect this deadwood contract. And then we'll take this one too. And then we can just head over there and take care of those in 1 second. Let's first take a look to see... I thought the rolling was complete, but apparently not. Well, let's disable the worker, and we'll just finish up this little piece ourselves. I think it is only this piece that needs doing. So we may as well just go over it ourselves, and then we can go and take care of those 2 liming contracts. And that'll be a nice little addition to our balance. And you know what I was also thinking? In relation to buying a new field, what we're going to do is take a look to see what's planted in these fields around us this year. Because when July and August come around, we're going to sell our furniture, which is going to probably net us around 100,000. And then we're going to sell our pasta, which is going to net us around 120,000. So we're going to be able to afford a pretty massive field. So what I was thinking is, if one of these fields around us has wheat in it, we can buy that field already planted, and then we will have wheat this year as well as sorghum. And that will mean we can buy some chickens and start producing the fresh pasta in our pasta production. So that is the plan. I think that's a very good plan. That's corn. Potatoes. What's this one? It's canola, is it? Yeah, it's canola. Sunflowers. Yeah, unfortunately, no wheat around us this year. Anyways, that was an idea I had, but I guess it's not meant to be this year. Alternatively, we could use the money just to upgrade either our grain mill or our dairy. I would be leaning towards the dairy first, because that's independent of our grain, and all it needs is milk producing cows. Yeah, we will see later on in the year. For now, let's head over and get these 2 lime contracts complete. And then we'll probably skip through to May and fertilize the fields that we planted this month. So I will continue with the liming, and I'll see you back shortly. That is our 2 lime contracts completed. So we've got a nice... How much is it? I actually don't know. Let's collect the contracts and find out. We've got 6164 plus 11712. So 17,800 in total. That brings our total money back up to a very respectable 163891. So with the 2 lots of goods we're going to sell in the next few months, and the cows being offloaded. I completely forgot about the cows. That's 25,000. So we're going to be close to 300,000. That's definitely enough to buy a large production or a large field. Now, I'm thinking large production. And I'm thinking dairy first. And the reason for that is that we don't have enough grain to go in the grain mill. And we have milk. And once the next set of cows gets sold off, we'll buy some more milk producing cows, and then the big dairy is going to be able to produce milk independent of any crops being in the ground. So I think that's going to be the way forward. And once that starts producing cheese, butter, bottled milk, chocolate en masse, then we're going to start making some decent money off of it. And I think we'll be able to really start ramping up our income and subsequently our future purchases. So that's what we're going to aim for, I think. So a couple of things I'm going to do. Wash our tractor here because it really could use a wash. There we go. We'll give it a quick jet spray. We haven't actually washed this since we've had it. So 400 hours and it hasn't had a wash. I think it looks pretty good considering. There we go. So let's switch off the engine. And what was I going to check? I was going to check something, but I don't remember what it was because, as you already know by now, my short-term memory sometimes isn't that great. Sometimes, i.e. all the time. I can remember numbers and letters. I have really good alphanumeric memory, but my short-term memory, yeah, really not that good. Anyways, let's skip through to May, and we'll see what we have to do there. That's what we were going to do in April that I forgot about. We were going to check our prices for our upcoming sales. Welcome to May, by the way. Let's take a look at that first thing before we look at our fields. So, if we look at our stock check here, and we don't have much bread to sell this year yet, unfortunately. I don't think we're going to be getting too much. So, looking at our furniture though, 78,000 at the moment for furniture. We could actually sell that this month. It's only 3,000 off of its top price. Let's look at the chart for furniture. That's I think that's going to be okay until next month at the very least. And then looking at our pasta here, so that is January, so that's not good right now. Our spinach pasta is August, so that's okay, so that's 28,000. So we're not going to get the 120 plus 100. It's going to be more like 100,000 all in. That's probably not going to be quite enough to build us up to 200 and I think it's 280,000 the dairy. So for this month then, we're going to take a look at the crops we planted last month, and let's take a look to see the state of the field. So 116, our sorghum, that needs spraying for weeds, and that's really about it. We could go over our soybeans for weeds, but I think that's fine. Don't think it needs that. And then if we look at our precision farming, we limed all of our fields before we started the season. I think maybe we'll take a look at our grass field. Maybe we spread slurry on it last month. We'll take a look at that to see if it needs topping up with fertilizer. Fertilize our sorghum. And then soybeans do not need fertilizing. We'll also fertilize our rice. So we'll grab, should we grab this tractor or the other tractor? Let's grab the other tractor. We're always using the JD. So we'll change our habit and we'll use Mr. Noisy here. So I'm going to go round and spray our fields and get them fertilized. And I'll see you back here once we're complete.
You got control of me, break barricades, walls are crumbling. wish I should have known. You got control of me, break my barricades. Walls are crumbling, grounds they shake. You came to save, but it's way too late. Every single time you stay, I cave. You got control of me, break my barricades. Walls are crumbling, every single time you say I can't. You got control of me, break my barricades. Walls are crumbling, every single time you say I can't.
Okay, so we didn't quite manage to get our rice field fully fertilized. We almost made it, but not quite, before we ran out of fertilizer, which is rather unfortunate, but never mind. I'm going to quickly flood the field just here, just so that's doing its thing, and then we're going to head over to the store, pick up some new liquid fertilizer, and just finish off that last little piece of rice field, just because I want to ensure we get the maximum yield of all of our fields and the maximum precision farming score. As I was contemplating life, as I usually do when I'm doing time lapses and working on fields, I was thinking about where to put our dairy, and what I was actually thinking was maybe we can put it where our current dairy and bakeries are. And I was thinking that we would remove the bakeries for now. They do generate us around 50,000 per year, but I think that's a really good place for the dairy, and possibly even one of the bigger bakeries when we get them, because once we upgrade our bakery, we're only going to need one, we're not going to need two. So I'm thinking we remove the bakeries for now, or at least remove one of them. So we'll remove the dairy and the bakery next to the dairy, or the bakery closest to the dairy, and then we put the bigger dairy there. So when we have enough money and it's time to buy the bakery, we put the big bakery where that second bakery is now. So the dairy can go... Where's the input for it? It's there. And the output is this. Where's the output? It's that side. Yeah, the output and input don't really work too well for placing it here. And it is bigger than I thought it was in this space. I was hoping it would be a little smaller than that. Regardless, we could put it there. What's the other dairy like? Oh, this is a much smaller dairy. This is perfect. So I don't know where the output for that is. There's one... Okay, so that's the output there, and the input's there. So this could go like that, just there. We could even get rid of that beehive because we're not really using honey at the moment. Or in fact, it could even go here. It's not a much bigger footprint than what we have currently for the dairy. So yeah, our dairy could go here, level with that. And then when we get the bakeries are one of these ones. See, the bakery can go here in place of these two bakeries. So yeah, we wouldn't even need to remove these bakeries. We could just build the dairy where the current one is. I think that's what we're going to do. So, with that said, let's skip through to June. I think everything we can do in May has been taken care of. So, let's skip through to June. Okay, so June is upon us. And no, I'm not going to continue the rhymes. I was just saying something in a different way because I wanted to. That would be very useful, wouldn't it? It's electric powered. This would be really useful. What's a bale pallet detection for? I actually don't know. Oh, you can even get it with tinted windows. How cool is that? You look like a gangster in your forklift. Amazing. I'm really tempted to pick this up. If we did, we would have to purchase the charger to go with it. So how much does that cost? It's 5,000. This would make loading our pallets so much easier, wouldn't it? And it's 44%. Was it 44% off of its retail price? 45%. Yeah, so we're going to buy this. So 28,362. Perfect. So we're now going to have to build the charging station somewhere. Now, where should we build the charging station? Now, for now, most of our loading is going to happen over at the pasta production and over here at the furniture store. But soon it's going to be happening over here as well. So I'm thinking that our charging point should be fairly near, well, where we're going to park it, I guess. So we're probably going to park it in the shed when we're not using it. So we should probably put this in the shed, shouldn't we? Kind of just mount it in the wall like that. That looks pretty good. Yeah. So let's go and get our little toy here. Now this has a massive extension range. I really think this is going to make our life so much more convenient when loading and unloading. And just look at this turning circle. Yeah. I am like a kid with a new toy. Which makes sense because I do have a new toy. We're going to jump in the harvester and we're going to empty the rest of the long grain rice from the last harvest into... Oh, of course the tractor's right in front of it, isn't it? Who put that there? I don't know. There we go. So we're going to empty the last of this rice into the oil mill because 5,000 litres is what we need for the VIP order. So in between this trip and the next trip over to Spactrans, we're going to be able to fulfill that piece of the order. Let's get that taken care of. Alright, so what we're going to do next is grab our trailer. And where are we going to park it first? We'll put it over by the sugar mill first. We'll get the sugar loaded up. And we'll take it over to the carpentry, get the furniture loaded up, and then we'll get it sold off at Spactrans. So, I'm going to continue with some loading, and I will see you in a little while. Okay, so I forgot how utterly joyful loading a trailer is with a forklift. compared to a tractor and a front loader. This was an absolute pleasure to do in comparison. Okay, so we are approaching Spactrans with our load of goods. So let's get this in the sell point and sold off. And one thing I want to check quickly is that our rice oil, is going to Spactrans, and I'm going in the ditch. Don't want to be going in the ditch. Sorry, workman. Didn't mean to drive into you. See, that's what you get when you don't pay attention to the road. Let that be a lesson to you. Don't play with electronic devices while you're driving. Puppington Farms, wisdom of the day. Alright, let's get this undone, and all of that sold off, so 110, and then an extra 15, extra 17 there, so 117,000 for that load, which is absolutely fantastic. So we're on 250,000. We could actually now afford to buy the big dairy. I think I'm going to leave building the dairy until the next episode. That can be something that can get us started in July, given that we don't have any crops to harvest this July. So with that said, I think this is a great place to leave this episode. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I hope you're enjoying following along. If you are, of course, please do give the video a like and consider subscribing to the channel. And I will hopefully see you in the next episode. Till then, bye for now.